Here's your wrestling news for January 7th, 2022. And your headlines for today include even more names released by WWE, former champion released for the second time. Fans believe former WWE champion and two-time Hall of Famer is next to be fired. Update on the backstage morale in WWE after latest wave of releases. Universal Champion Roman Reigns' next challenger will come from an unlikely source. Roman Reigns medically cleared for Smackdown after missing day 1. NXT 2.0 superstar reunites with family after 3 years apart, and more. We're kicking off with WWE as more people have been released by the company. This week saw a dozen names cut from NXT, and now Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reports that Samoa Joe has once again been let go. Joe was last on TV as NXT champion, becoming the first person to win the title 3 times, but after an injury forced him to vacate the gold, he hasn't been seen since, and hasn't appeared at all on NXT 2.0. It's worth noting that Samoa Joe had previously been released by WWE, but was rehired by Triple H to work in NXT as a performer and talent scout shortly after. Joe's release certainly adds validity to the reports that names close to Triple H are being targeted in these releases, as almost everyone who was cut this week was either hired by the game or was close friends with WWE's COO. We can't say for sure if his allegiance to Triple H cost him his job, but in their report, Fightful said that Joe was actually released at the same time as the other recent releases, but news of his departure has only now come to light. It's also reported that WWE and NXT had no plans for the former NXT champion to return to TV, saying that within weeks of him being stripped of the title, there wasn't any chatter of him wrestling again, and that he'd settled well into his new role. The report adds that according to WWE, no talent were released this week, further emphasizing that in the company's mind, Joe was done as an in-ring performer. Given that Timothy Thatcher and Danny Burch were also released, despite having appeared on TV, it also looks like WWE considered both men finished in the ring, as both men also held roles as coaches at the Performance Center. Responding to his release, Joe took to Twitter to say he is extremely fortunate and grateful for all the talent he's worked with, and said he's excited for the future of NXT 2.0 and his own. It was only a couple of weeks ago that Joe was spotted hosting a WWE tryout, but he won't be working with any of these new signings after his latest, and seemingly last, release from the company. It's not just Joe who's been let go by WWE, as yet another name close to Triple H has been released. On Twitter, Gabe Sapolsky confirmed that he's now left WWE, describing his departure as the end of the road. Sapolsky's career in wrestling began in 1993, writing company newsletters for ECW, and he'd hold various roles before the company folded when Sapolsky became a permanent booker for Ring of Honor, winning the Wrestling Observer Newsletter's Booker of the Year award for 4 years in a row. Joining WWE in January 2018 as a consultant, it's reported that Sapolsky worked closely with Triple H in NXT and was being groomed for a much bigger position backstage for the main roster if the game had been given the reins for the company. Though there was a time when Triple H seemed destined to inherit his father-in-law's company, those days are long gone, and now another person has lost their job, seemingly just for working well with WWE's COO. With so many people being let go by WWE, it's no wonder that fans are speculating on who's next, and many believe that Shawn Michaels could be the next to go. On Twitter, the two-time Hall of Famer's name was trending, as since he's Triple H's best friend and these cuts seem deliberately targeted at the King of Kings, many fans believe that it's only a matter of time before Mr. WrestleMania is cut. While several names close to Triple H have indeed been cut, it's worth remembering that Michaels is one of WWE's all-time legendary performers, and that losing him to another company, such as AEW, would be a huge blow for Vince McMahon. With Shawn Michaels also working as head trainer in NXT and excelling as head of the brand in wake of Triple H's recent absence, Michaels seems safe in his role, but that's not the case for anyone else who considers Triple H a friend. Even with over a dozen people being cut from WWE this week alone, there's still plenty of names left in the company, and the mood is, unsurprisingly, somber. During a Q&A for PW Insider, Mike Johnson said how morale is low at the moment, and that people working there who were only there for themselves and rarely show empathy for others were greatly shaken by what went down. In WWE headquarters, Johnson said those left in the company are befuddled and angry about the cuts, with some saying the company isn't the same place it was just a few years ago. One anonymous member of WWE even claimed that this is Nick Khan's company now, not Vince McMahon's. When asked if Khan will earn backlash within WWE for his insistence on cuts, another name within the company said that if the WWE president did leave, that it would lead to a lot of problems to readjust, as he's implemented so many changes. It seems that no one is happy in WWE, and many are fearful for what their own futures will be, and the record-setting profits WWE are earning mean little compared to an angry, confused, and scared staff. At Day 1, Universal Champion Roman Reigns wasn't there to defend his title after a positive test postponed his title defense against Brock Lesnar. All reports since then have said that the rumored Reigns-Lesnar match at WrestleMania is still on, but in the meantime, the Tribal Chief will need someone to face, and that someone may be from an unlikely place. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said how one plan is in place for Reigns' next challenge to come from Raw, who will be moving over to Smackdown soon enough. There's no word on who this alleged Raw superstar will be, but Meltzer didn't fancy their chances, calling them the next sacrificial lamb. Tonight, Reigns will be on the same show as Lesnar, which was promised by the new WWE Champion on this week's Raw, and with the Beast making another appearance on Raw next week, it's entirely possible that Roman Reigns will follow him to the Red brand for his next opponent. Speaking of Reigns, the Universal Champion was forced to miss last week's Day 1, but fans will get to see the Tribal Chief on tonight's SmackDown. On Twitter, it was confirmed that Reigns has been medically cleared to appear on the Blue brand, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens when he, Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman are in the same arena once more. And we're ending with some much-needed good news, as Dakota Kai has reunited with her sister for the first time in 3 years. On Twitter, the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion shared some photos of the reunion, saying that she's not sure how her sibling was able to keep this a surprise. Kai added that the last time she and her sister were in the same place was in 2018, and said that her heart was full with emotions. The NXT 2.0 superstar isn't the only fighter in her family, as her sister Narin is a MMA fighter, and after a difficult week for Kai, who saw several of her friends and mentors be released from their contracts, this reunion was a much-needed boost for the former tag team champion. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.